hello, and welcome to the Color Whisperer Show, where we talk about all things home and healing. And today I've got a treat for you. We have got somebody, her name is Clarissa, and she is all about finding your own way, making and making the world the way you want it to be. She has a wonderful book. It's called Painting Your Path, and she's got a podcast. And we're going to talk about how you can make your path at any age. Clarissa, welcome to the show.
You so much for having me, Jeanette. I'm so happy to be here.
It's so wonderful to have you here too. So let's start with tell us a little bit about your book because it's so wonderful.
Sure. Yeah. So this book, I wrote and published right before the pandemic, and it was at a time in my life where I was asking myself, "Is this the life that I want to be living?" And at the time, I was in corporate, but I knew I wanted to transition out. So I wrote this book. I interviewed 21 fantastic women who had done the thing that they wanted to be doing for their life. I thought it would be inspiration for me on my journey, as well as other women, men who might be also asking themselves, is this the path that I want to really be on? And after I published the book, so many people asked me, okay, when's the podcast coming out? And so 2 years after I published the book is when I started my podcast. And it really is all about inspiring people to do the things that they feel called to do.
Yeah.
That's the premise.
There's something about midlife that makes you sit there and go, is this really, a lot of people get divorced midlife. A lot of people change careers midlife. And especially once the kids are kind of done, it's like, okay, I did that. So now it's time to look at, wait a minute, who am I now? I mean, that was 20 years ago, who that person was that gave birth, right? And now who do I get to be?
Exactly.
And I think that, I remember growing up, and it's really weird that to know that I'm as old as the Golden Girls. And, I remember watching, things like the Waltons and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm older than they are. And I don't look like that. Like,
right.
I mean, like, I don't know. They just had, I know it's TV, but like, like their lives maybe were harder. I don't know. Maybe we're just better preserved with all the preservatives in our body. I don't know. But I look at, my friends and I look at other people from my high school and I'm like, none of us look like the Golden Girls,
No.
And that was a really weird thing to kind of fit in my head, but like, and they were struggling with, what they kind of knew at their time and what they grew up to be. But, I grew up with, you get to a certain age and you turn gray and you kind of, but we're not doing
That's
that.
It. No.
We're not doing that. We're like, no, it's my time. I get to be me. I get to find my wings. And so tell us a little bit more about how do you help people find their wings?
Yes. And I think as adults, we stop dreaming.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt like this, but when I was little, I so wanted to grow up so fast. And it came. And it's going by so fast.
Right.
And I think children teach us so much. I mean, I don't have kids, but I remember what it was like to be a child and to have an active imagination and to dream. And so that's where I tell my clients to start is like, okay, the kids are gone. Clean slate. Let's focus on you.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've always wanted to do, but you didn't have time? You had other people that you had to care for. It's time to take care of yourself. So just even starting there to journal, to make a vision board about it, and just dream. Don't ask yourself, how is this going to happen? Because that is the dream killer, in our world of entrepreneurship and coaching. We say, F the how for now, and just focus on what lights you up, or what are you curious about, and start there, and then decide that you're worth it. That is dream, this passion, this interest is worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people to start.
I mean, I didn't have kids either. And one thing I didn't miss was having to do the school run for 12 years.
Right. Yep.
The school run,
and all the
run,
things.
and all the sports on the weekend. Oh my God. Like I'm very, that's like, there's things I miss, but that part I do not miss. And that becomes such an ingrained part of your day. So do you have women that like have forgotten how to dream because they've just been so much of like, I'm mom. I gotta go to work. I gotta take care of the kids. I gotta make sure they got lunch money or pack their lunch. I don't know if kids pack lunches anymore, but
right.
You got to make sure they're here and there and everywhere, and you're juggling like 100 million things on any given moment. That there's no time to dream. So do you have women that like have forgotten how to dream?
Maybe at first, but I just always ask them, like, what is something that maybe you really enjoyed as a child? And let's say you wanted to be a ballerina. Well, maybe it's not about becoming a ballerina, but maybe it's about taking some kind of ballet class or movement class or just go dancing.
Yeah.
I recently had a client who was in her late 70s. And she started to work with me because she said, Clarissa, I was a prodigy artist as a child. I got so many kudos as a kid for the art that I did. And then she stopped. She got married, had kids. And then we got connected. And she worked with me. And she said, I just want to get back to my creativity.
Yeah.
I just want to start painting again. And so that's what we did. We just started to paint together. And it can be as simple as that.
Creativity. I mean, if I go through a dry spell with my clients, I'm like a caged animal. I'm like,
right.
It's like, wait, I need to be creative. Like that feeds my soul. And I think that there's so many things that you can do to be creative. It doesn't matter what it is. It's what speaks to your soul. And I hate to say I use AI, but I use AI. And
hey, it's here to help us.
Right. But it's also taking away some creativity too. And I have a love-hate relationship with my blog.
Yep. I get it.
The entrepreneur moment, right? It's like I really do enjoy writing. I do. But it's like, between newsletters and blogs and there's like so much output. And you kind of don't know, like it's going into this big ether space, right? And so, but when I get to do design work, I'm changing people's lives. I mean, I enjoy writing, but when I'm in a designer's home, when I'm in a client's home, and like I'm changing somebody's life, and it's so incredible that relationship with creativity goes deeper than when I'm writing. And I think it's so important that we do something creative.
Yes. And if you're not an artist per se, or a writer, even just being in nature.
Yeah.
And seeing what's around you.
Yeah.
That can begin to open something up. And don't take a device, don't take your phone, just be in nature
Yeah.
for a little bit of time and see what comes up. I also tell people who tell me they're not creative, I say, did you dress yourself this morning? I bet you did. So guess what? There's some creativity there in how you put your outfit together. How if you wear makeup, how you put your makeup on. That's creativity. Cooking.
Cooking's very
Like,
creative.
right?
Not the way
Like
I do
for
it. But
yeah, me too. Because I don't have a recipe. I'm like, what's in the fridge? What's in the freezer? What's in the pantry? Let's
right?
just create something.
I have this game I like to play is how long can I avoid going to the grocery store?
Oh, that's a good one.
Let me tell you, that one brings in a lot of creativity.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Absolutely.
we when I was newly married, we actually went almost a whole month, but we had some help. Both of us had Filipino friends, and they both
Oh,
had
yeah.
partners. And you don't leave a Filipino party without like a week's worth of leftovers. So.
Yep. You can't. It would be rude
Right?
not to take home something back
Right?
to your house.
And we got like 3 or 4 containers from each one, and I'm just like, wow. You know?
Yep. I have my food for the rest of the week.
Oh goodness. So tell me a little bit more about your journey and finding this new path for you. So you like
Yes.
I'm done with corporate. I'm burned out. I'm just like corporate. I never did well in corporate. I personally I much prefer the ownership of me, myself, and I.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
so do you do coaching now? Tell me what brought you
What do I
into
do now?
coaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to school for organizational psychology
Okay.
and
What does
coaching.
that mean?
So basically, when you think about a company, you think about the people that work there. Think about all the baggage that they bring. Nobody's free from that. Think about the interpersonal connections, team building, leadership, communication. So, all the soft skills within an organization. If you have an organizational psychologist there, they're really helping to optimize how people work individually, as a team, and for the organization. So that's my educational background.
That's
And
pretty cool. I
yeah,
never heard of that.
yes,
Cool.
and coaching was part of that.
Sure.
And I'll never forget it. There was like a career day, and somebody came in, and they were an executive coach, so they worked with the C-suite, and I thought, ooh, that's really cool. I want to do that. So I eventually found a job where I was able to do that for an organization. And that was my last career. And I loved it. Then the pandemic came. And during that time, we had to furlough like 80% of the workforce. Because I worked in dental, which just had such a high COVID, whatever.
But the dentists went crazy too because there's so much more dental work going on.
Yep. And so during that time, I was needed, but I just had to do work differently.
Yeah.
And what happened was because of the furloughs, I ended up getting more work piled on me. And, this is just how it was. And it didn't stay like that forever. It was a turning point for me. And I said, okay, I've always had my dream to do my own thing, be my own boss. It's time. So that's kind of the environment I was in before I left, like right when I left. So I started coaching people who also wanted to leave the 9 to 5 to start their own thing.
And there was a lot of that during COVID.
There was a lot of great
there was a lot of
resignation. Yes. So early on, I met with so many people who were just a couple steps behind me. So I did that for a while. But then something just didn't jive anymore. And then I started to repeat the old pattern of really working in overdrive. I got burnt out in my business after a couple years, and then I got hit with this vocal condition, which you can totally hear. I can't hide it. But that was my body telling me, okay, girl, something has got to shift. And that's when I kind of just, not kind of, I shifted more to help people still achieve the goals that they want and help them paint their path, but in a much more gentle way, through creativity, through movement, through journaling and conversation. And that's what I'm doing now.
That's really cool. Let's talk a little bit more about burnout, because
Yes,
I love what I do, but I've been burned out. And then,
yeah,
several years ago, I had a really ugly miscarriage, which it wasn't burnout, but I was I broke is the way I say it, which is kind of the same thing as burnout. I mean, it was not from work, but I broke. And so let's talk a little bit more about the impact of that, and then how do you get back from burnout?
Yeah, it's challenging because if you're an overachiever, if you're like, production oriented, which that was corporate, right? That was how I operated for almost 30 years. And I was so excited to just do my own thing. Working 18-hour days, 7 days a week, just was like, this is just how it is for now. Until my body just shut down. And honestly, Jeanette, in 2023, and this happened, I had to shut down. I didn't really work. And I'm thankful for my corporate days, because that's what helped funded 2023. And, and fast forward to now, I'm definitely not in the same headspace I was working all those hours. I am working way less. Body hasn't caught up to that, and I think it's still just a reminder for me to slow down, because my natural way of being for so long was to let's go. And you know how it is as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
As a coach.
It's the only thing. You'd rather work 7 days a week, 12-hour days for yourself for pennies.
Right.
Instead of working for corporate, working 9 to 5 for somebody else. It's like, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yes. And so what I do to help, find peace is by doing what I just said, getting out in nature.
Yeah.
Doing the artwork. Before hopping on our call, I had a nice coffee chat with a friend. And so it's baking in those moments of quiet, of stillness, to help. I mean, I'm not fully recovered, so there is more work to be processed.
Yeah.
But at the
Takes
same
time.
time, I just physically cannot do those 18-hour days anymore. And that's okay.
Did you get any signs ahead of time? I mean, like I always joke that God whispers and then He yells.
Yep.
So He had to
Yes.
yell at you, and He's had to yell at
Yep.
me. It's not fun when He yells. So,
Yeah.
were there any whispers that you ignored?
Sure. There were whispers that I ignored, and they were kind of masked as those attagirls. First my husband said, I think you need to get off the computer now. So he tried. So that was one. Maybe that wasn't a whisper, but he said, like, I think you need to take a break. But I got so much praise for all the events I was doing, all the programs I was putting out there. It was feeding my ego. And I was kind of blind to the shadow side of that because I was getting so much praise.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, that was, I don't know if it was a whisper, but it was something that I later realized was, there's a shadow side to this.
Yeah. And it's interesting that sometimes you will, like your husband said, hey, you need a break. And you're like, oh, but I got this. I got this.
And I was so
we don't
excited.
always hear the our loved ones are doing stuff, right? And we're just like, oh no, I'm struggling. And I think, that overachiever type personality, tell them they can't do it, like,
right.
You want me, tell me I can't do it, like
I'll show you.
Otherwise, right?
Exactly. And I even had a friend who, I mean, she's like 20 years older than me, but she would say, oh, tell me about your business. What's going on? And I would tell her, and this was all written via email. And then she would write and say, that just made me so tired. And in my head, I'm like, well, you're 20 years older than me. Of course it's going to make you tired.
Right. But that was her way of saying you need to slow down.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something, all right. So for somebody who is go, 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 go all the time, how do you slow down? How do you, like, going out in nature and, like, your brain's full of all these thoughts? How do you take that, even if it's half an hour, 15 minutes to just go be in nature? How do you calm the brain? Because that's not just, I've got all these things to do. It's cortisol. It's our nervous system and being hyped up all the time. So
yes. And what I tell people is, can you just go outside for, maybe it's just 5 minutes, maybe it's 1 minute, and if you can, to do it first thing in the morning when you get up, if you can, no sunglasses, because our circadian rhythms have gotten so jacked up with all the blue light that we see, wearing sunglasses. When it's light outside, we're kind of telling our brain when we wear sunglasses. And I'm new to this. My best friend just only told me about this 3 years ago. But we're kind of messing up ourselves. So we need sunlight. We get energy from it. And I get we don't want skin cancer. But if you just go outside for a few minutes, and just start there. And if you're in a place where you can step on the grass without shoes and ground, connect with the earth. And I might, for some people, like, that might even sound crazy, but just try it. Try it a minute, 5 minutes, and do it for the next 30 days. And just experiment.
Yeah.
See how that feels. And another thing I have to do is also the food we consume and impact our brains. I admit I love coffee, but I have had to cut back because it does amp me up too much. So little shifts like that.
Well, our food is, hang on, Mark. Our food is such an incredible part of who we are. Our gut is our second brain.
That's right.
Recently started taking some gut health stuff, and I got to tell you, like, it's night and day. I mean, I've got so much energy. I feel so much better. And I didn't really feel like I had brain fog, but things that were difficult, like I get tech phobia. And so now I'm learning some new programs, and I'm just like, I can do this. Like,
Yes.
I can do this, and so getting that gut biome together is such an important about your mental health and how I feel happier. I mean, I've been taking health. I mean, I've fought depression most of my life. Who knew my gut health was going to fix the depression? And it has. I mean, instead of waking up going, oh, like I got to do another day, I'm waking up like it's another day. And when you're fighting depression, that weight is so heavy and you don't know how to fix it. But, I'm taking like 6 little vitamins and like, oh my gosh.
It's making all the difference.
I feel like I've lost 30 pounds of emotional weight. I mean,
that's fantastic.
We'll get there.
But the emotional weight I feel is
right.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah. Mark, did you have a question?
Oh, well, one, I was fascinated by y'all's conversation. It's very interesting. I was actually just talking to a friend of mine, and I'll just give a little bit of context in all along those lines. But you don't know this, Miss Clarissa, but I'm in North Carolina and all along those lines. And I've actually got 2 friends that are running against each other. The current mayor running against the past mayor. Not running against the past mayor, but the past mayor's daughter. And I'm friends with both of the individuals and everything like that. But Anjanae, who is running against the current mayor and everything, and she's a single mother of 3 and everything like that, and is a definitely in what y'all would consider, I guess, that middle age category. I think she's like in her late 40s to early 50s, somewhere in that age range and everything like that. And on she's been consulting before she decided to run with different community leaders and everything like that. And one of the people asked something that I told her I was going to ask you folks and everything like that, because it was part of the conversation, because they asked her as she was running for this office, could she accept failure? And I thought that was an interesting conversation point, because she's running and that's a thing that she may have to face and everything. And she gave what sounded like was an answer that, yes, she could accept not winning. But that was a question that people have to face when they're trying to go on these journeys, whether it's kind of like you are talking about the person that wanted to go back to a field that they used to be a prodigy in, and all along those lines and everything. So that just was popped into my head, this whole notion of accepting failure. And I just wanted you and Jeanette's thoughts on that.
Oh, I love that. And and maybe you've heard this before, maybe it's cliche, but I really have had to train myself to see failure, the word fail, as first attempt in learning. So if your friend has never run before, she's never run before,
No.
And if and only if she doesn't get elected, hey, it's her first time. Like that in and of itself is so huge. So I have learned for myself that every quote unquote failure is a first attempt in learning. And sometimes it could also be a divine redirection that we have no idea of, maybe something better is out there for us. And so that's why we didn't get the position or what have you.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go back to your conversation. But yeah, and I think some people, just as a context, are thinking that because there's some people that even wonder why she would want to run because her dad was the mayor before. Then back to that, he was the mayor before the current mayor. Well, actually, 2 mayors ago and everything. So she's been in the field, but not, as you said, in the field. So this is her first campaign, but she's not actually where she's putting herself on the forefront.
And I love the distinction that she made is she can accept not winning.
Right.
But that doesn't mean failure.
Right.
Just because he didn't win this time, that doesn't make it a failure. It's hey, I did my best run, and it doesn't mean I don't run again. And I'm learning how to make videos on and post them on a regular basis. And oh my gosh. I can do this. This is fine. Right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking to nothing, it's a whole different thing. And
yes.
And so I've been like, this has been a spiritual journey for me.
And kudos to you.
It's like, okay, I've got to learn the program first, CapCut. It's supposed to be really easy. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, and like the first video I made took me like 3 hours to do it and post it and all the stuff that needed to be done. And I'm just like, well, if I don't figure this out, I'm like, I can't spend 3 hours every day doing this. And I just kept practicing. And the next time it got a little bit easier. And the next time it got a little bit easier. And then I found a shortcut. And and each time I get a little tech check mark. I'm like, yay! I'm not so. I get it's a little tech win. It's exciting, and so I finally got at least some basic tech settled where I could produce something that I felt somewhat proud of on the tech level. And it's basic, but you know what? I'm starting where I'm at, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to learn more, and that doesn't mean. But it's like, okay, what can I handle? So this step, and then now it's like, okay, so part of this thing is I'm reading scripts, and well, it sounds like I'm reading, and okay, so how do I shift so that it doesn't sound like I'm reading? But it's been about 6 weeks I've been doing this, but each time I write the videos, I'll do like a block of videos in a day because like I can't just do a video every day. That's just too much. You got to get in
right
the space to do it. You got to do the hair, the makeup, and everything. And it's like, I'll just make a whole block, a week's worth of videos. That's fine. And then, but I'm like, so the last time I made them, I'm like, okay, I'm going to shift these things. And I did. And there's still some more shifting that needs to happen, but it's really been an interesting experience. And I mean, that's the wonderful thing about being an entrepreneur is there's so much to learn. There's so many things. And like, if you want to get into self-development, the best thing to do is become an entrepreneur.
Oh my God. It's self-development.
And it's constant.
It's
constant. It's like, everybody has to make videos these days. Like, it's crazy, right? Nobody reads anymore. Yes. And so I'm like, okay, well, I have to do this. All right.
Right.
And so I've got to face the demons in me that say, no. And then I've got to face the demons in me that say you're too dumb to do the tech part. And more keep coming up. But it's such an incredible spiritual journey that, I wasn't really expecting. And, I'm taking this class and I'm like, well, I do hope it ends up making me money. But honestly, what I'm getting from it is worth what I'm paying for it. And because I see what the spiritual journey that's coming from it is really intense. I mean, it's really
yes. Yeah. And again, kudos to you for learning something new. Tech is not an easy thing for everyone. It's certainly not my forte at all. So I give you tons of credit for doing it.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's just I just don't give up. A friend of mine calls me some dog, was it a Yorkshire, not a Yorkshire Terrier, but anyway, she's a dog person. So whatever dog this is, she's like, "Jeanette, you just never give up." Like, it's a blessing and a curse.
Like everything in life.
I mean, should I have given up? I don't know. Maybe I should have given up, but I don't. I just don't give up. And I believe that I can figure it out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We are creative, resourceful people.
exactly. Especially when you're in a creative field.
Yeah.
There's always another way.
That's right. That's right.
So what about hobbies? Do you help people with like, if you've been mom for 20, 30 years, do you even have any hobbies? Do you even know what you like?
Yeah. And for people who are like, I don't know what I like to say, cool. Then you are a blank slate.
Yeah.
And so a question that I ask is, well, is there something that you've kept secret, like, from the world? Like, ooh, I'd really like to try or do this. That's been a secret. That's a sign. Because usually, like, people do have something that they secretly want to try or do.
Yeah.
And just allow themselves to bring it to the forefront.
Yeah.
So that's a question I like to ask. So what have you secretly wanted to do for your whole life? Just as a starting point.
And I think that's, I think especially in the role of mom, we push ourselves down. I mean, I have a niece and nephew that I did a lot of mom for. And, I'd get a phone call on Friday and say, "We need you to take the kids this weekend." Okay. We're on our way there. We'll be there in an hour. I'm like, okay. And then you just start, figuring things out. And I'm like, a couple times I'm like, well, I got this going on. They have to come with me. That's okay. But it does become all about the kids. And so you kind of do forget about who you are in the process.
Right.
Not every mom does it, but it's easy to do. It's easy to get stuck in that thing. And then, I have an acquaintance, and she's scared to death of her kids all leaving home. Like, she's got 4 kids, and like, she's scared to death of being alone. And, she's got a ways to go, but like, she loses her identity when she's not a mom anymore. And I've seen older women do that too. It's like, who am I now that I'm not, you're always going to be a mom, but you're not in the house. You're not in their day to day. Got to take care. Did they, checking on them and everything. And on some level, it must be a relief. But if that's what you've identified as, if that's who you see yourself as, now who are you?
Yeah.
It's like somebody come in and just cut off your, it's like, okay, this part of you is gone. And then the tricky part is then, okay, now they've got to have the relationship with their child and change it from I'm mom to, there's this really interesting balance when a kid gets to be out of the house. I don't know if it's necessarily 18, but out of the house. And then you want to have a relationship where they want to talk to you. So that means
right
to kind of bring the friend thing. Friend doesn't work under 18. You're not their friend under 18. Sorry, it doesn't work. But after 18, then you kind of need, but then they're an adult. So there's an element of, you need to look at them as not kids anymore and create more of a friendship so that you can keep that relationship going.
That's right.
Because if you just keep them as little kids, then they're going to run away.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I think for those moms where it's challenging, like I always say, like, give yourself grace. You don't need to figure out your hobby tomorrow. But again, come back to that dream. And maybe there is something that you always wanted to try. You just haven't given yourself permission. Or you told yourself it's not the right time. Well, guess what? It's the right time.
It's time.
The kids are gone. So why not? There's nothing stopping you. Right? Except yourself.
And that's our worst enemy. You know, is it Marianne Williamson? You'll know the quote, but our biggest fear is actually how powerful we are. Do you know the quote better than I do?
Yes. No, but I know but I know the one you're referring to, but I don't know it like by heart. So, but yeah.
Because we let ourselves stand in our way. If we really truly understood how much power we had, we would use it. But we've been taught in many ways that we're not powerful. And it happens in school. It happens within families. It happened, how many times does a little kid hear the word no? We're crushing the spirit. I remember my nephew one day, I broke his heart. It broke my heart. And I had to tell him no for something. And in that minute, I watched his face just fall. I crushed a part of his spirit that day. And what I said no to, I had to say no to. It was the right thing for me to say no to. But the effect that it had on him, I'll never forget that look on his face. And so it's like the whole elephant thing, and they start with the weight around their leg when they're little, and then they get to be older, and all they got to do is have a rope around it, and they won't go. And we do the same thing to little kids. Is like we tell them no, but we got to tell them yes. With my niece and nephew, I did everything I could. They heard a lot of no at their house, and so I did everything I could to say yes to them when I had them. And they came to me one day and like, Jeanette, can we make fondue? And I'm like, how do you know what fondue is? Oh, they have it at Denny's. They have it at Denny's.
They do?
Oh my God. I said, what?
I didn't know they got fancy.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
It's on a kid's thing at Denny's. And I was like, well, let's find a recipe and let's try. I've never made fondue.
Right.
You know what? We'll try.
Yeah, let's play. Yeah.
The next day, they're like, we want to do it without the recipe. I said, well, have fun.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not going to use the ingredients again. I'm like, here, go have fun. If we eat it, we eat it. What if we don't like it? Then you keep playing with it until you do like it, or we go find something else to eat. But I gave them that freedom to explore and make those culinary mistakes, creative in cooking. We used to do Iron Chef pizza night, which was really fun. So it would either be girls against the boys or the kids against the adults. I'd let them loose in the grocery store, go buy whatever you want. And then we'd make Iron Chef pizza night. And so they loved that. And a simple way to give them some creativity, some adventure. And if something was bad, we never said this one's bad, this one. We just said, okay, so, and we take a vote. Okay, whose pizza won, and half the time we didn't even vote. It was just like, oh, it's so good,
Yeah, let's eat it all.
right. But this is what we got to do to ourselves. Even is feed that fuel of. Because we have been crushed down by so many different things.
Right. And I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I really feel, especially in our generation, I'm sure times aren't completely different, but I feel there's more acceptance for different types of careers, different ways of being. But like in my case, my mom told me, no, you can't be an artist because they don't make money. And I was like 5 years old. So
Oh,
talk about soul crushing. And she hates when I tell this story because it's just what she knew, right? She had no examples of successful artists in the family. And
yeah.
now she appreciates my art and supports my art. But you're right, as kids, we hear no more than yes a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's as a parent, we've got to give them as many yeses as we can. You know,
Yes.
I really do. All right. Oh my gosh, today's going so fast. We are already got 10 minutes left, but I want to give you a chance to talk about your book, talk about your podcast, any coaching. So
Oh,
this is
yeah.
your time to highlight your stuff.
Oh, gosh. Thanks, Jeanette. Yes. So I do have a podcast called Painting Your Path. So if you like conversations like this one, I would love for you to drop in and check out a few episodes. My book, Painting Your Path, is available on Amazon. And sorry for the people who ate Amazon, but that's where it's at right now.
It's easy, right?
It's so easy, and that's why I did it. And as far as coaching goes, I do have one-on-one coaching. I also offer a group program that's 6 weeks. It's called The Art of Becoming.
I love
Because I
that.
noticed we put so much pressure on ourselves to achieve our goals. So with this program, you're still keeping a goal in mind, but the way that we really embody it, connect with it, is by doing different creative activities every week, different movement expressions, and different writing prompts. And we talk about it as a way to help us not be so much caught up in our mindset that can sometimes keep us stuck. So I offer that. I'm going to offer that again in the fall.
Nice.
And I
Is
have
there
a
a
women's.
website? How do we find you?
So I will have a link for it when the next program's up and running.
Okay.
Right now, there's a wait list. And I'm also going to be doing a women's retreat in Topanga Canyon, California, August 22nd through 24th, called Creative Breakthroughs.
That's wonderful. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so if you are a woman on the edge of what's next for me, come join us and get away from all the noise and distraction. We do have several options for like sleeping arrangements. You can stay on the premises. It's happening at this place called Commune, which, if you've never been there, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous retreat facility up in the woods, away from everything.
Topanga Canyon is gorgeous.
Yes. And if you don't want to spend the night, you can also just commute and join us for the day and evening.
That sounds amazing. I love what you do. It's so important to empower us. You know, we get so many things that we have to fight, and to have that space to feel empowered is
Yes.
incredible.
Yeah.
Mark, you had a question?
I did have a quick question. Well, actually, one very quick question. The other one might not be as quick and everything like that. Because the quick question is, since the Pod TV, which Jeanette is on, is an international network and got people like me that are in North Carolina and people in New York and even people overseas and everything like that. For your life coaching, is it possible for people to get your coaching even though they may not be from California?
Yes, 100%. I've had clients in Europe, Canada, of course, the US, not in California. So, yes, I do my one-on-one coaching virtually.
Okay. And the other question I was going to ask, based on what y'all were talking about with the cultural impact and the fact that that you were
Martin,
discouraged as an artist and everything. I just wondered, can you hear me?
It kind of cut
Okay.
out.
Oh, was I cutting out? I was just wondering your thoughts, if you can hear me, about the cultural impact of whether sometimes certain cultures discourage people from going into certain fields and all along those lines. So I was just thinking about that when you mentioned being of Filipino descent. I've got a good friend that has a band called
Yes.
Brother Monk, and they are
Ooh.
Filipino, and they are actually very encouraged by their parents, and they were of an interracial couple. The gentleman, the father was white, and the mother was of Filipino
Oh,
descent. And
wow.
I think one of
Yes.
them is a filmmaker, and I think the other one is still pursuing and doing his music. And I want to say they're like in their 30s, but don't quote me on the age.
Right. Yeah. I think it's so interesting because I'm also part of this community of Filipino women, intergenerational. And my parents came from the Philippines to the States. So I'm one of those people that has had to balance Filipino culture with American culture. And let me tell you, they are opposite. They are
yeah.
so opposite. You know, in America, it's about the individual and expression of who you are. Filipino is
Totally.
about the family. It's about, so here's what I came to. I embrace the best from both. And I also remember that anything my parents told me cascaded down from their parents. So they're just, of course, trying to support. And what I see now with like my cousins who have kids, they're super Americanized, and I think there's a beauty to that because typically, like you was taught, don't shine, don't stand out, be quiet unless you've been spoken to. So there's real stuff that I've had to deal with. And I know I'm not alone. And that's partly why I do this work. Because no matter what your culture background is, especially for women, I feel like we've taught to be let somebody else shine. Just be a good daughter.
We're the nurturers.
Right, we're the nurturers. Yes.
Somebody else has got to shine more than us. Yeah.
Yep.
Clarissa has a client due to job related. If Clarissa has a client that is depressed due to job related stress, has she ever recommended spirituality as a step to resolving the issue, or is it always medicine?
Oh, yeah. I never prescribe medicine personally, but if somebody is depressed, spirituality, yes. Not everybody
Is willing to
is
accept it.
willing to accept that. If you are, explore it. And I don't hesitate to recommend therapy. Because as a coach, and you know this, Jeanette, like we take the person and help them look forward.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with depression, and you said it a little earlier, it could also pay attention to what you're eating, right?
Yeah.
That has a huge impact.
Huge impact.
Huge impact.
Huge impact. Because I didn't think I
On our
ate
spirit.
that badly. But
Yes.
we have so much deficiency in our food. It's in the soil. It's all the chemicals they're putting on stuff. Like even if you're eating organic stuff, there might be a farm, 2 doors down that's using all the chemicals and it's washing into the organic. So it's unless you're going to grow all your own food, which I'm not.
Me neither.
I don't need another job. It makes such a big difference that I'm a big believer now in it because I've seen the difference. It's huge.
Yes, it's huge.
Depression is our body's way of telling us that we're not paying attention to ourselves. And everybody talks about self-love. And I've been hearing about self-love for so long. I just want to take a bath, take a walk. I just want to swear at them and say, you don't, like, that doesn't feel like self-love to me. But what self-love is really is putting yourself first. I had a situation last week. I was in a seminar. It was a Zoom seminar for 3 days. And they said, make sure there's no interruptions, da, 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 da. I had a friend call me up the day before. Jeanette, I'm stuck here in San Bernardino. That's like an hour from me. And she's like, you got to come get me. And I'm like, I can't. I said, well, even if I can come get you now, I can do nothing for you tomorrow. So you've got to find out how to get back there. And that seems like it's not beneficial to you for me to come get you when you don't have a way to get back.
Right.
So she found a way to get closer to me, and I'm like, okay, fine. So she spent the night, and then the next day she kept interrupting me, and I was so mad, but I was mad at myself. Like, why didn't I stand my ground? You know? And this is a very important part of, like, no, I didn't want her sitting on the street all night in San Bernardino. But at the same time, I was like, and I told her before she came, I am not available tomorrow at all.
Yeah.
And then, she comes in, it's like, well, I don't have a way to get back. And I'm like, I don't want to be solving this problem right now. That
Right.
has to be her. I am not in a space to solve this problem right now. And, here I was on my 1 hour lunch break, and I had to solve her problem. Otherwise, I had a bigger problem, which was her in my house. And It wasn't that she was doing anything bad. I just needed to be alone and be able to focus on this seminar at that time. And so we've got to own ourselves and be able to stand up and say, and it's not just Filipinos. I mean, I come
Right.
from a family where it was all for one and one for all. And let me tell you, it was a lot more one for all for one and not one. It was, there was a loss of identity there as well.
Yeah.
And because it was everybody, the family first. And
Right.
that's not a bad thing. Like you said,
Yeah.
but it's creating a balance between, yes, we have to take care of the family, but we don't do it at the expense of our own sanity either.
Yeah.
You've got to find that balance. And, like I said, I spent 3 days, I was mad at her, but I was madder at myself because I didn't say no.
Yeah.
And when we have these moments, these are teaching moments.
Exactly.
This is that one of those whispers. This was a pretty loud whisper, and fortunately it didn't turn into a scream, but this is where we got to listen to what feels good for us, and it's like, you have a relative or a friend call you and you're like, I really need you to do XYZ. And you're like, I'm tired. I'm this, I'm that. This is what creates that burnout, is when we say,
Right.
Like, okay, is it truly an emergency? Is there really nobody else that can help? Is this my responsibility to fix? Am I in a place I can fix this right now? I wasn't with this lady. I did not have the bandwidth really to help her. And I said no. I said yes instead of saying no. So learning to understand, where's our bandwidth? What does that feeling in our gut say? Is that telling us that we're supposed to say no? It's not just telling us we're lazy or we're being selfish. It's not selfish if it means you're sacrificing your sanity.
Oh gosh, right. So true.
So, all right, it is 12 o'clock. So let's tell us your website. This has gone so fast. Thank you so much, Clarissa. I loved having you on. But let's get your website, and then we'll go get some healthy food. We've got some Kendies.
That sounds good.
Coming up.
Awesome. My website is ClarissaStudio.com.
Clarissa what?
Clarissa Studio.
Clarissa Studio.
All one word.
Okay.
Word.
Cool.
Yeah. That's where you can find me.
Fantastic.
Or my podcast.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was fun.
It was fun. All right, Mark, let's go get to some Kendu spice and figure out how we can get more good, healthy stuff in our gut, because we know that's really important.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how to flavor their food or how to replicate a meal? They're interested in supplements but don't know where to begin? Well, what I do is I take the guesswork out of enjoying flavor and wellness with my flavorful spice blends so that they can create delicious meals with healing benefits. Can Do Spice was created to help cooks at any level enjoy healing through food. Every spice blend was designed to give added health benefits of natural herbs. Every blend is complete. There's no need to add any additional spice for a delicious meal. Saving you time and money while adding supplements to your meals can be both tasty and fun. My earliest memories in the kitchen began with my father, Kenny Can Do Bond, so it was fitting that I would name this line after him. I have always looked to natural remedies to supplement the body, and I found myself hiding herbs and minerals in foods for my family. That's when it hit me. Everyone needs Can Do Spice. Everyone should be having this. It's an exclusive brand for cooks at any level who want to create flavorful dishes with healing benefits that can satisfy the body and soul. Add a little spice to your life. Give Can Do Spice a try.